Well, hi there, Amender.
Well, hi.
We're late, but we're here.
It's
we
hey. At least we didn't put off for another week.
right.
Just a
We
day.
totally could have, and we did not. So, uh, we are here. I am queer. And
Yeah, we're currently recording on a Thursday. The
yeah,
day that this is
it's
supposed to
fine.
come out. So we're like, we'll just post it tomorrow. It's fine.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
And
I'm not fucking worried about it.
and to all my fellow gaming nerds, it is N7 day. So hopefully you observed that and properly. So just to let
Yeah,
you know,
I couldn't. Is that what's the cube game? Is that the cube game?
Portal.
Yeah, Portal.
No, it's I have a hoodie. It's like my black hoodie with like the red stripe.
Yeah, I've
The,
seen it. I just don't
yeah,
know what it's from.
and I have it on as a bumper sticker on my car. It's from Mass Effect.
Mass
Um,
Effect. Okay.
and the game company BioWare said, yeah, we're completely focused on making the next Mass Effect game,
Ooh.
which is cool. And then today they actually announced that for N7 Day, they added like a new type of armor in the game, the Dragon Age game I've been playing, Veilguard. So after we get done recording, I'm gonna log on to that and get the fancy new armor and
You
it's
get it,
supposed to be
girl.
like themed with N7, like the outfit that your main character wears in Mass Effect. So
Oh my gosh,
um
that'd be cool.
I know, so it's like I'm gonna try that. What's cool is like they kind of like cross universes a lot because they'll like in Mass Effect, you can get what's called Blood Dragon armor, and it's like actual looks like almost like knight armor with like a bloody like dragon, like a painted dragon over the chest, and it's from Dragon Age, and so they'll put that in, like Mass Effect, and so now they put this in Dragon Age. So I'm pretty excited. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, that's fucking cool. Hi, we're a podcast,
We are. We
which
we
we
almost
did
always
not.
forget to announce that, but
I know. Yeah,
I'm
hi, we're a
assuming
podcast.
my thought process is I'm assuming people figured that out when they saw it, clicked on it,
Yeah, for
something.
sure, for sure. Uh, my name's Nikki, and that's Amanda. Say hi, Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
And we are two neurodivergent best friends traveling the neuroverse together because we are living in a neurotypical world, and we are not neurotypical girls. Amanda,
Mm-hmm.
what are we talking about today?
We're talking about how it seems to be, at least in our experience as neurodivergents, that when we try to give reasoning or context for something, people see it as excuses, and then also may touch upon like how it's like basically how it seems like so basically it seems like we're arguing when we're trying to ask questions about something. Like we're
Yeah,
trying to get clarification and it seems like we're arguing, or we're trying to, like, say someone wants us to do something and we ask questions about it and they make it seem like we're saying, like, acting like we don't want to do it.
yeah. So basically, our need for clarification and to make sure other people are clear on what we are doing and why sort of ends up making it the signals get crossed. The neurodivergent and the neurotypical do not seem to reason those things out the same way. So,
Mm-hmm.
at least in our experience, like you said. So yeah, that's we're gonna flap our gums about that today and see what we have to say. Um, sorry, I'm trying not to get sick. I have crotch goblins, and they are germ factories. And there is just all the things going around right now at the school. And my oldest was sick last week with some sort of respiratory virus. And then now the youngest, I had to go pick him up early today because poor kid is like hacking up mucus and said his throat hurts. And my throat keeps trying to hurt. Although the avocado roll that I just ate helped that quite a bit. That nice healthy fat from that
Mm-hmm.
avocado coated up my throat real good. So, um, pardon me, I burped. I just slammed that avocado roll before we jumped on. Uh, Jordan got stuck in traffic bringing our dinner. This is our once this paycheck eating out night. So we chose Yummy Bowl, which is a kick ass fucking restaurant over here. They do the sushis and the stir fries and all of the lovely Asian cuisine. So that we love just so much. Anyway, let's we got any bullshitting to do before we jump into this, or are you just ready to go?
I mean, I feel like nothing really has happened. I just feel like I just continue to be busy at work. Um, I guess the major event that happened is the election happened. We won't be
Yeah.
discussing that because we will both get very angry and heated, and we're already over emotional about it and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
emotionally overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so if you're in the U.S., yeah, that
We're
happened.
sorry.
Obviously, you're aware, and if you're in the rest of the world and you're just shaking your head and making the little girl like what the fuck face, trust us, we tried.
We feel you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we feel
feel
you.
you.
We
We
tried.
also we it's like being on a bus that's on fire and we can't leave. Like we
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing we can do about it.
Literally, I keep saying, like, because I told you yesterday, like, we'll talk about it for like 2 seconds, but I told you yesterday, like, I 150,000% get the hysteria and get the fear and get the holy shit that everyone is feeling right now, right? My problem is I I have to sort of like block a lot of that out right now as much as possible while still making sure that I'm like available for my people who are close to me who like need to talk about it because I'm already battling an up like you like I have an uphill battle with the mental health as it is and like this just could easily put the nail in the coffin figuratively for me.
It's like
Like,
basically just like not wanting to think too much about it. It's kind of
yeah,
like I'm kind of glad that I'm in super busy at work. It's just because it keeps me like off like social media,
off the
off
internet.
looking
Yeah,
basic, and
yeah.
even I haven't even like been on social media. Like I didn't like Google the election results. I just saw like a couple posts on social media from like different pages, and I'm just like when I woke up that morning because I went to bed pretty early that night because I told Nikki I said if the apocalypse happens at least I wasn't aware of it,
You'll
so
be asleep.
I'll be asleep. So it's whatever, and I know that's kind of like a privileged mindset, uh,
Yeah,
because I am sort of vulnerable being a woman, but I'm not part of the LGBT. I'm
right,
not a minority,
right,
so the only downside is my gender. So,
right,
um, which they've already tried. They've already tried to attack multiple times, but
right,
so
right,
we'll see how how inspired they get by the Handmaid's Tale. Let's just say that.
right. And I'm over here just like when it happens, then I'll freak out. I'm not naive enough to believe that it's not that nothing could possibly happen or that he's not going to try or whatever. All I can do is hope that he has enough people around him who go, look, I know what you want to do, but here's what we ought to do. Because if you want to do this, I don't know how much support you're going to get from it, and I don't know how easy it's going to be for you to do it. So hopefully there's some reasoning happening around him, and that's all we can do at this point is like freak out when it happens. So that's where I'm at. When there is need to lose my mind, then I will, because if I spend too much time thinking about it, it's a one way ticket to the loon bin for me. So that is all I'm gonna say about that. But let's roll if you're ready to roll.
Yeah, so you're the one that thought of this topic, so what brought it up?
It's just like it's something that I frequently think about anyway, and it's not really something I thought could be maybe an entire topic, but I feel like between the two of us discussing it, it totally can be.
Because we can talk the shit out of anything, really. So.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we've already spent 10 minutes bullshitting. So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
like, we're already rolling the clock down. So, yeah, I have always felt since I was a kid that when I was trying to explain something to somebody, as to why I chose to do something a certain way, I was either viewed as a know it all or like I was arguing or like I was giving excuses. Like if someone didn't like how I did something and they were like, well, what did you do it that way for? I can't understand or did not understand that like people generally don't want an answer to that question. Like neurotypicals don't actually want an answer to that question. They just want you to go, I don't know, I'm sorry, how should I have done it? Right? It's not like
Mm-hmm.
let me explain to you in detail why I chose to do the thing I did. But that's always been my response is to explain in detail why I chose to do the thing I did. Because that just seems logical to me. You ask me a question, like, why did you do it this way? And I'm going to say, well, this is why. And I'm going to explain it to you. But that generally gets me negative feedback. So, and I've found this most in the workplace when I was employed. This would happen to me a lot. There would be someone who would ask me, well, like, why did you feel like you should do it that, or what was the reason for that, or da da da. And it's like, well, this, and this happened, and then I decided this is what I needed to do. And it's like, well, that's not an excuse. Or like whenever shit would blow up at work between me and someone else, it's like I'm trying to explain to you what got me to the point of me being ignorant to her because that's takes a lot for me to be unprofessional in the workplace. And I'm trying to explain to you why. And then I go, well, that's not an excuse. Well, you're right, but it's a fucking reason. Like,
It's
just
like, good thing I'm not
explaining
giving
to
you an
you.
excuse. So.
Right. I'm not giving you an excuse. I'm explaining to you how we got here. Because my theory is if you know how you arrived at the place you're at, you better know how to not get there again. Right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
or if it was a positive thing, you know how to get there again. The more it's information, and we like information. Us spicy brain folks love info, right? Like we want to know the why and the what for. And them other folks just don't. And it does not bode well for me most of the time. Know it all was a lot. I got that a lot when I was young. Because, again, people don't generally want questions or answers to the questions they're asking.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just, what is that called? Rhetorical questions?
Yeah, like hypothetical, rhetorical, like.
Hypothetical or rhetorical questions. And I'm like, oh, let me explain to you exactly why that is. You know, like I know about that, so I'm going to tell you. You were curious, so I know, so I want to tell you. But then you're like, someone. I even had someone one time tell me that I talk when I am around them, I make them feel stupid because the way that I explain things, it's like they don't know what they're doing. And it's like, no, I'm just trying to give you the most information possible so that you can do what it is you need to do successfully. Not because I don't feel like you can handle it or you don't know or I'm smarter than you. Like, I'm just trying to give you as much information as possible. And I've just never understood that. I've never understood why me trying to give information or me trying to give a reason or explain myself has always been seen in such a negative way.
Right.
It's something that bothers me. So, those are just some of my examples. Like, how do you feel like that shows up or has shown up for you? Is it similar or have you had different experiences than that?
Yeah, because I remember, like, growing up, my mom always said, well, you always act like everyone's always wrong and you're always right. It's like,
Yeah, I get that
no.
too.
I mean, sometimes I feel like are there times where I sometimes feel like smarter than the people around me? Yeah, but there might be a good reason for that. Like, just just in general, like, it just obviously depends on who I'm with. Like
Yeah.
Scott always says, like you're always so smart, or he'll like joke like you're smarter than I am. Like, sir, you're a teacher, I am not. So, but the I do like, and like you said, at work, and like there's been times where I will wake up late. I'll get to work, and then my boss, either this one or previous ones, they'll be like, "Hey, why, like, if you're gonna be late, you gotta let me know." And it's like, okay, well, it's not like I woke up on time and just decided I'm just gonna wait to go in. It's I literally woke up, panicked, got ready and got to work within 15 minutes. So it's not like and so basically last there was a time I got written up because I was like an hour and a half late one day, and like she had to call me to be like, "Hey, where are you?" And so I got written up, and then basically I was trying to explain like I just have a hard time, like I'm not a morning person by any stretch of the imagination. And so every like reason I was giving was kind of like received as if it was an excuse.
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, why don't you just put your like alarm clock like on your dresser?" I'm like, "Okay, you don't understand. I've done that, but I will literally like get up, turn off the alarm and go back to bed, like
Hmm.
half asleep." And so and then saying like and trying to explain, especially like my dreams are so vivid and kind of mix reality, like with my like my conscious and my subconscious. Like I will dream that I am like it's almost like I'm aware I'm in my bed, and then I'll but then part in my dream it'll be like, "Hey, you have to hit this button, like if you need to hit this button, otherwise something will explode or something will turn off or do whatever." And so in my dream, that's my dream self is hitting the button. In real life, I'm hitting the snooze alarm. Like, so it
Yeah.
just kind of mixed, and that just seemed as like an excuse of, and the whole like, why don't you just go to bed earlier? Do you think or why don't you just take sleep medication? Because I don't want to. I don't want to have to rely on taking something every night, especially like that makes me so groggy in the morning. Like I have to try to remember to take it at like 8, 9 o'clock because I'm also hard to medicate. So I can't take just like one and sleep medication like ZQuil. ZQuil takes like a couple hours to knock me out. So if I'm like to the point where I'm tired enough, like, oh, I should probably take it, it's probably too late to take
Yeah.
it. So, and other things like even today, this wasn't necessarily seen as argument or excuse. It kind of is more of my the way I ask a question is not received or not answered in the way that like in a way basically what the information I was looking for is not the information they gave. Like I asked, I was like, "Hey, I noticed this thing on this was wrong. Is that the device's issue or is it an issue on our side?" Um, and then they're like, "Well, let me look into it. I think it's probably on the device. Like there's nothing." And then I was like, "Okay." And then they came back and they were like, "Well, basically it was an ATM. Like is the
Hmm.
ATM is it issue with the ATM or is it issue with our system reading the information from the ATM?" And so they got back to me and they were like, "Oh, well, I actually talked to this member and they those transactions were valid." What? That's not what I asked. I asked if the information that we're receiving from the ATM, like basically where is the like disconnect from? Like is it the ATM giving the wrong information or is it our system giving the wrong information? I don't care if the transactions are valid. That wasn't my question.
Right. The information is still wrong.
Yeah.
So we need to know why.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah.
And so and then other things like especially like I know like in text it's hard to tell tone, but we use like a messaging system at work that's not Teams or anything, but um we use like a messaging system at work, and so like I will ask someone who works on a certain thing and say, "Hey, have you done this? Have you done this report yet?" And they'd be like, "No, actually, I haven't gotten around to it," and blah blah, and giving all these like reasons, and I'm like, I just wanted a yes or no.
Right.
Like, so now I try to preface it, like I try to preface everything with, "Hey," or like you like adding like an LOL or like whatever, just to make it seem
Mm-hmm.
like I'm not getting onto somebody. I will be like, "Hey, have you finished this report yet? I don't want to do my part of the report. I don't want my part of the report to overlap with yours." Like,
Yeah.
basically, that's what I need to know. Um, and like you said, just trying to explain things, it just seems like arguing and everything is just, and even growing up, I probably learned relatively early. I want to say like late elementary school, early middle school. I had to like, especially with my mom, I had to like preface everything with, "I'm not trying to argue, but," and then like
Mm-hmm.
get asked the question. Like she'll tell me something, and I'll be like, "Well, I'm not trying to argue, but so and so, why and why?" Like because otherwise, if I ask the question of what she said, it seems like I'm refusing to do something or I'm disagreeing with her. It's like I literally just want clarification for what you're.
Yeah, and I feel like I got that a lot as well. Like, I'm not trying to argue with you, but like I really need to know why. Like I want to know why. Um and I got that a lot at work too, where it was like there'd be some procedure we had to do or something had to be done a certain way, and I would ask why because I'm genuinely curious, like why is it that we do it this way? Because I just want to know. And it's not because I'm asking you why because I'm refusing to do the thing until you explain it to me. I'm going to do it no matter what, but like it's helpful to me to understand why because if someone has that question for me later on, a new employee or someone who hasn't done this certain thing before, then I can explain to someone else why
Yeah,
we
it
do
won't
it
just
this
be
way.
like, "Oh, that's just the way we always do things," or "That's just the way we
Right.
do it." Like I hate that. I don't say that.
Right. It's just I don't understand when why became such a
Negative.
negative word, like an overcharged negative word. Like I don't understand it. We like I don't know. I feel like we get such mixed signals as kids too because it's like we're encouraged to expand our minds and learn and grow and be all that you can be and all whatever fucking trope
Be
you want to put in
curious,
there.
you know?
Be curious and like you can't be any of those things if you're not asking questions. And one of the questions you have to ask is why?
Yeah.
Like why is a valid question. Like it's I don't know. It's so frustrating. It's not something that is. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It's just, I get so frustrated and pissed off when I'm that misunderstood. And all I'm trying to do is get as much information as possible so that I can effectively do the thing I need to do. Especially if it's a work thing or like an important thing that needs to be done. Like, the more information someone has, the better equipped they are to do the thing that needs to be done. Like, that is just pure common sense to me, and it doesn't seem to be to everybody else. And I don't know if that's a brain wiring thing, if that's a social conditioning thing that we don't understand. Like, because I know I'm not the only neurospicy person that deals with this, because I've seen it all over social media. Like, there's even a video that goes around or TikTok or whatever it was, wherever it originated, I'm not sure. But the girl was like, "Can someone please explain to me the difference between reasons and excuses? Because I don't understand it. And every time I am trying to explain something to somebody, it's seen as an excuse." And it's like that video had so many views and so many comments. So like obviously we're not alone in this.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't I don't know, man. It frustrates me and it doesn't make sense. That's really like
Yeah,
what it
because
comes down
like
to.
on the other side of that, um, and I've talked a couple times about like a certain coworker that I have that I think he's like probably I don't know if he's like on the spectrum or something, or if this is just his personality.
Yeah.
But where I told my boss, like, I don't mind explaining to people why something is. Like, if you ask, like, oh, like, why do we do it that way, or like, what's the reasoning behind that process, I don't mind explaining it to you, because I'm the same way. And I told her that. I said, I will be the first to ask, well, what, basically, like, what's the point of that, you know? And so, like, on the other side, but then in defense of us, when we ask why and you'd give us like a reasonable answer, like beyond, well, that's just the way we do things, then you like you can't like we won't argue with you back. Like, we won't just refuse to do it.
Right.
Like, basically, if you tell me, like, oh, you need to do it this way, and I'll be like, okay, but why do we do it this way and not this way? And then you get flustered and angry with me about it. I'm just I'm just curious. But so, like, I have this coworker who I'll explain why we do this, and then he just won't do it, or will do it the wrong way anyway. And that's what frustrates me. I'm like, that's not what we mean. Like, we're not asking why just to circumnavigate or like circumvent your instructions or the process or anything. We just want to
Right.
know, like, we can't, we're basically, I know, like, neurodivergents, they tend to buck against authority, I've noticed. And so, like, we're fine with having like managers, bosses, whatever, but like, you can't also just be like our parents when we were kids and like, well, I just do it because I said so. That's not an acceptable answer.
No. And it's never going to be an acceptable answer. I mean, it's not conducive to a good work or learning environment either. Like, it's not challenging to someone's mind to just be a mindless robot and do
Yeah, we're not
exactly what they're told all the
drones.
time.
Yeah, we're
Like,
not drones.
I don't know. If you want a robot, talk to Elon Musk. You know what I mean? Like, he's working on those right about now. But if you want an engaged and valuable member of your team or a member of society, you should probably let people ask questions and understand that their questioning is not argumentative. Now, I will say that is not to say that I have never argued with somebody who has explained something to me,
Yeah.
because
I mean, yeah,
sometimes
fair.
it requires it. Um, there are some things that it's like, if I ask, well, why are we doing it that way? Because to me, it seems unnecessary to do
Yeah.
it this way.
Like, it's like, well, this is an easier way. It's like, why, when you want to get the answer to 4 and you're adding 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 instead of just 2 plus 2,
Correct.
why? It's so,
Yeah,
like, I'm going to argue with you. It's like 2 plus 2 is easier.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, and I got a lot of that at work too. And it's like, and a lot of it was because I said so. And it's like, but you don't, like, you might be the person who runs this place, but like, just because you do doesn't mean you're always correct. Like, I don't know.
It's like
Or
you're human, you know?
exactly. And some of the corporate things that they would come down with, and I understand that's different. Like, we do have to comply with corporate things when you're a corporation, whether they make sense or they fucking don't. But like, at least explain that to me. Just say, look, I think this is stupid too, but it's a corporate thing, and unfortunately it has to be like this. And I'd be like, okay, fine. You know, it is what it is. And I already know corporate things are stupid. Okay? If it's a stupid rule and you're like, it's just a corporate thing, I'd be like, oh, makes total sense to me. Corporate shit is stupid. And I'll just be like, okay, fine. I don't like it, but I'm going to do it. Right? Like, if we don't have a choice, we don't have a choice. It is what it is. But there are some things that were able to be moved and flexed and changed. And it just was like, no, we're not doing that. And I'm like, okay, cool. Fine, whatever, you know? And I don't know. That's just why I don't think I'm cut out to work for people. So, like, I mean, obviously, if I had to go work for people, I would go work for people. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna make it so we don't eat over here. But I don't think, like, the longer I've been off work, then the more I've had time to like process what the 2.5 years was that I worked at that place. It showed me just how unequipped I am to operate in a workplace where there is corporate bullshit. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
just doesn't, it doesn't work for me. And also where there is unescapable petty drama, like unescapable petty drama. I think I'd be fine if I was in a cubicle or a desk or an office by myself where I could go shut the fucking door and not have to deal with people in my face all day. Um, but I do not think I would be able to survive another 2.5 years of being so entwined with the same four people for 8 to 10 hours a day and is inescapable bullshit drama all the time. Like, I just don't think I could do it.
Yeah, because even
But
like
anyway,
when I worked like customer service or retail or stuff, like we had like enough employees. Like when I worked at Barnes and Noble, like we had probably 15, 20 employees, so you could work with different people like all the
right,
time. That you could work 3 days and not work with the same person, like same people each time.
right,
Same with like when I worked at the movie theater. We probably had like 20 employees, so there's like a chance that you didn't always, and not only uh 20 employees would like you either work in box office, concession, or usher. So you'd uh, even if you work with someone the same like 5 days in a row or something, they could be in different areas than you all those
right,
5 days. And so it just made it easier if there was someone that you particularly didn't get along with, then you could just
right.
kind of avoid them. Um, but yeah, I totally get it because I can't really be more specific with my
Yeah,
job. There's just a lot of, and my job also includes like we do it this way because we have to be compliant with the law. like
right, exactly.
like we have,
So that makes sense.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. And so, but there are certain processes that we have that even right now I'm like trying to type up pages and pages of like, hey, I figured out that I don't think we're completely compliant. And it's also like this one process they just haven't been training people fully correctly for years on. And it's like we're like barely skating by. Like we're compliant like with the law, but like we're not really like trying very hard to be very thorough
mm-hmm,
with the information and like that we have to process and everything. And
mm-hmm.
it's taking a lot of mental energy and I just can't. And so I'm like, that's why I like told you, I'm like, I just spent 3 hours reading about certain IRS tax laws and tax reporting guidelines, and my brain is broken. And so I can't do it anymore. This is why I can't be like work at H&R Block because I just can't. There's just
Yeah,
certain like taxes and insurance are just things I do not understand.
same.
And so but also the US, like we're pretty stupid when it comes to taxes and insurance
Yeah,
because other countries are like, "Hey, you owe this much money, just pay it." And they're like, "Cool." Whereas here, they're like, "We want you to guess how much money you have." It's like, "Okay, what if I'm wrong?" Well, then you go to jail. Okay,
mm-hmm.
but you know how much I owe, right? They're like, "Yeah." So will
Sort
you
of.
tell me? No.
Yeah,
No, we won't tell you. You have to make sure your answer matches ours. But so there are certain things like I constantly have to like as part of my job ask people, "Hey, why'd you do it? Like why like I have to be the person like almost like a manager like why'd you do it this way? Like what was your reasoning behind it?" But I try to like add enough flowery like pleasant language to it that it makes it seem like I'm not cuz I'm personally not. Like I'm not like being like accusatory of somebody because I know how it feels
right.
where and so I feel bad when someone feels like they have to defend themselves because like, well, that wasn't my intention. I'm just trying to ask. Like, basically, if you did it this way, but I know there's a better way. I will tell you
Yeah.
that there's a better
Yeah.
way. Like, you can do it this way. Like, there's this one type of like report that only one branch does it the way that I liked it done. The other branches aren't doing it wrong. They're just making it more complicated than it has to be. But only one branch is like, really listen to me of like,
Yeah.
here's an easier way that you don't have to do these 3 extra steps to get to the same point. Like,
Right.
the end result is the same.
Right.
But you guys, like, the other people are um basically they're just making it harder on themselves. And but then if you try to change anything, you're like, well, that's just the way always the way I've done it. Like, I don't want to do it the other way. Okay, fine. If you want to do it the harder way, be my guest. I'm just letting you know that there is an easier way to do things.
Right.
So
Like,
it's
hey, I have this great information for you.
yeah.
You should use it.
Here's a cheat
Nope. No
code.
thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a shortcut. Here's a cheat code, and it's almost like they want to, like, some people will argue against that. It's like, okay, I was trying to make your lives easier. Basically letting you know that cars exist while you're still riding a horse. Okay,
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I don't know if I have a whole lot more to say.
That's
Pretty
basically
much.
where I'm at, because I can feel myself being like,
We're zoning off. We're zoning off topic. So yeah, anybody listening, you guys can leave comments on Spotify. You can hop on our Facebook page and drop your experiences about this stuff. So we wanna hear from you. What has this happened to you before? And if so, how did you handle it? How do you feel about it? Do you agree with us?
like,
Is
have
this
you have you ever been seen as like difficult to work with just because you ask
yeah.
questions?
Yeah. Because I sure the fuck have. So, but anyway, let's roll the tape on fun and fuckery. Are you ready?
Yeah, ma'am.
All right, here we go. All right, we made it to the other side.
I got friends on the other side.
Okay, well, we're still in our Golden Girls Mad Lib, and
Yeah.
this is an ultra short one as far as like words that are needed. So
Which
instead
I
of the
I
next one,
appreciated. Yeah, I appreciated, because it was my turn to do the words, and I'm like, she sent me a picture of the words I would need to think up, and I was like, oh, thank God, it's a short one.
yeah. And apparently, I'm now yawning.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. Anyway, so let's kick her off here, Amanda. I need like 1,000 nouns from you, but
Mm-hmm.
we'll start with just one for now.
Obituary.
Obituary. Type of food, please.
Pickled beet.
Ooh, okay. Not for nothing. Pickles are great. Just saying.
She's the friend I give my pickles to, and
Yeah. I forgot you hate pickles.
yeah, I don't like
I
pickles.
love
Like,
fucking pickles
and that's
now.
why sometimes, like, some restaurants that will make their chicken sandwiches either like in pickles or something, like, and I can always tell,
Mm-hmm.
like, when I asked for no pickles, that they had at one point had pickles on the sandwich, but then removed it. They're like, ah, shit, I forgot to remove the pickle, and then they take it off, and I'm just like, ugh, you poisoned my food. I see.
Oh, shit. All right. Noun again.
Uh, whatever makes the
3 of them.
most whatever makes the most sense, either cosmos or the cosmos.
Yeah, it'll be definitely the. Okay. Yet another noun.
Fairy.
Fairy. Cute. Love them. Love fairies. Another noun.
This is the word I learned, not at all because of the election. I don't really know how to pronounce it. I've only read it. Recrudescence, and I'll spell it. It's RECRUDESCENCE. Recrudescence, I'm assuming.
That's a noun?
Yeah, it basically means like The return of something bad after a time of peace, which is how they described the election.
Oh, I mean, that actually fits really good in that sentence. So well done. Verb.
Pucker up.
That's gonna be a good one. Yours are always the best. Okay. Another verb.
Cupid shuffle. Which
Nice.
I know is like more like a noun, like do the Cupid shuffle, but I'd be like, if you dance the Cupid shuffle, you're I'm gonna Cupid shuffle.
That also works really well there. Another verb, please.
Just keep with the dancing theme. Jive.
Jive. Okay. Can't fucking add vowels today? Sure. Verb, past tense, post haste.
Fucked. Because there's no INGs.
Okay, hold on. Let me get my throat right here. Should have drank some damn tea.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
Okay. You said you were going to drink some tea, ma'am.
I sure fucking did. But that didn't happen. Because I was trying to slam an avocado roll, okay? Anyway, here we go. Remember that one is the name. This is a part one, I'm sorry. Remember that one, part one, is the name of our story today. This is a dialogue.
I like how in the top left, Rose looks, or not Rose, Blanche looks fucking sloshed.
She does. I mean, that fits. Okay, so this is a dialogue between, looks like Rose, Sophia, and Dorothy.
Dorothy.
So, here we go. This is Rose. My obituary always used to say, the older you get, the better you get, unless you're a pickled beet. Rose again. They say you can lead a herring to the cosmos, but you have to walk really fast or he'll die. This is Sophia. We could use the Sicilian method. We burn down the house, collect the fire insurance money, and move to a beautiful beachside ferry in California. I mean, rude, but it would work.
California, you know?
Sorry. Oh, my throat. Okay, here goes Dorothy. Why should I deny being in denial? I never said I was in denial. You are the one who said I was in recrudescence, and don't you deny it. I don't know. That's a really hard fucking sentence to say. Let me try again. Why should I deny being in denial? I never said I was in denial. You're the one who said I was in recrudescence, and don't you deny it. That's better. That worked better. And then here goes Sophia. Pucker up your seatbelt, slut puppy. This ain't gonna be no cakewalk.
Slut puppy?
That's what it says. Look at your book. It sure
I'm following along. It's just Oh no.
Shit. Pucker up your seatbelt, slut puppy.
Slut puppy?
Ain't gonna be no cakewalk.
Start calling people that, slut puppy.
Slut puppy? Alright, here goes Dorothy again. Blanche, have you heard of the oh god. Jesus help me. Let's try this again. Dorothy. Blanche, have you heard of the latest campaigns? Join the Navy. See the world. Cupid Shuffle with Blanche Devereaux. Join the Army. Be all you can be. Jive with Blanche Devereaux. The Marines are looking for a few good men who have not fucked with Blanche Devereaux.
They'll be hard pressed to find a man.
That'll be difficult.
Yeah, they'll be hard pressed to find a man that hasn't fucked with Blanche Devereaux.
That's very true. Oh, Blanche. All right. Well, folks, that's all we got for you today.
That's how the cookie crumbles.
Yep. Come and fuck with us on Facebook. And come chitter chat over there. That's where we spend most of our time. I've been slacking on the posts, but it's whatever, because I'm just trying to stay alive right now. It's fine.
We're just trying to day by day right here.
Yeah, day by day. Feel free to comment on the post for this episode if this has ever happened to you before. If you feel like this topic resonates, tell us about it. And then also you can follow us on all the other social platforms. We're just at the NDC podcast everywhere socials are platformed. We may not post as often to those other places, but we are there should you want to be there. What else, Amanda? Am I forgetting things? Oh, you can email us at the ndcpodcast@gmail.com. We've not mentioned the email in a while. We do have a Discord. It is Currently, I don't know what's happening with it because it was linked to our Patreon, which we no longer have. So I might have to reset the settings, but it is there. Um, and yeah, that's about it. So
It's all she wrote.
that's all she wrote. We will see y'all next week, possibly. Okay, love you. Bye.
Okay, bye.